Adrien Broner, Paulie Malignaggi fight. I was in attendance at the Barclays Center for this fight, and the crowd was definitely hyped. The crowd was excited for this fight. Adrien Broner was jumping two weight classes to win another title in the welterweight division. The scorecards read a split decision victory for Adrien Broner. One judge had it 115-113 Malignaggi. Other judge had it 115-113 Broner. Other judge had it 117-111 Broner. I thought Broner won the fight. Malignaggi threw more punches. He didn't even land more punches. He threw more punches. But Broner landed the crisper, the harder, the more effective shots. He did throughout the fight. Like I said, Malignaggi threw more, but Broner landed the better shots. And that was definitely evident and obvious. Could have had it 8 rounds to 4. Some people would have had it 7 rounds to 5 for Broner. I just didn't see Malignaggi winning the fight. Don't get me wrong. There were close rounds. I'm not going to say that there wasn't. But to say that Malignaggi won the fight, I just didn't see Malignaggi winning 7 rounds. I didn't see it. Even if Malignaggi, if he threw 40 more punches than Broner in that round, but if Broner came and landed, 10 hard, crisp, precise shots on Malignaggi, I'm gonna take that over Malignaggi throwing 40 more shoe shine punches. That really didn't have much effect on Broner. So I just thought Broner definitely did enough to win this fight. It was close, but I thought he won the fight. Broner definitely now is 3-division champion, 23 years old. He says he wants the fans to pick his next fight, and whoever's the highest percentage, that's whom he's gonna fight. Broner definitely has options. He could fight the winner of Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse. I would love to see him fight that fight. That's an option for him. And there's other fights for him, but that would clearly be like the next option, for him to maybe, win the junior middleweight title. I don't know if he'd be able to stay at 147 right now. There's other talent there, but we'll have to see what happens at the end. It was a good victory for Broner. Good test of experience for him, because up until this point, this was his toughest opponent, who did have world-class experience, in Malignaggi. So, it was a good victory for Broner. He learned, he got some more experience under his belt going the distance, because it's been a while since he's been the distance. So he got some good work in. And at times Malignaggi outworked him and landed a couple of decent shots. But again, like I said, Malignaggi has more experience than Broner. Broner's 23, Malignaggi's 32. Malignaggi's been in there with good fighters. So that was just gonna happen. Broner took the risk, jumping 2 weight classes to fight Malignaggi, and he came away with the victory. No guts, no glory. Now as far as what the stuff what Malignaggi was saying, he said he didn't think the fight was fixed, but people who are connected and get the decision, maybe that happens. I'm not gonna say it don't happen, but I don't think Broner needed that in order to beat him. Broner just landed the better shots. It's as simple as that. Now all that other stuff as far as what Broner was saying, leaving with his title and his girl, he could have kept that girl stuff. That was irrelevant. The fight is over. You don't have to sell it no more. He didn't have to say that. Now, if he wanted to say after the fight, still as far as Paulie got on his bicycle and ran, which he did, he can say that, because that had something to do with the fight. Broner landed some good shots on him. Paulie got on his bike and he ran. Broner had to bring the fight to him. Broner had to chase Paulie down, which was true. That's what he did. You know, Paulie ran. Paulie mainly used his jab. That's what Paulie did. That's pertaining to the fight. As far as him talking about stealing his girl, he could have left that alone. That was unnecessary at that point. If you want your pops to brush your hair, fine, brush your hair. That's all in the showman. But as far as all that other stuff, that's irrelevant now. That's irrelevant. So that's my views on the main event. The undercard, the two fights on the Showtime telecast, the Sakio Bika fight. I was at the Barclays Center to watch this fight, and for the most of the fight, I fell asleep. It was boring to me. The last round was exciting. The last two rounds were exciting to me, but the most of the fight, I literally fell asleep because I've seen Sakio Bika fights in the past, and I fall asleep on them. So it was nothing there to keep me awake. But he did win the belt. Good for him. The Jonathan Banks Seth Mitchell rematch. It was a disappointment. It was a huge disappointment. First fight ended in a TKO victory for Jonathan Banks. Second fight was a disappointment. Jonathan Banks was knocked down in the second round, even though he was hitting the back of the head. Ref called it a knockdown. Third round, Jonathan Banks hurt Seth Mitchell, and I'm thinking at this point he hurts him. He maybe finish him in the third or the fourth round. After the fourth round, he just does nothing for the rest of the fight. Walking around, dancing, and doing a little pop shot and occasional jab and stuff. It was crazy, It was a disappointment. And Seth Mitchell, even though he won, he himself. He was no better. He was like a bum out there. Just the thing, before he got knocked out last year, this guy was like a one of the high prospect. Like in the future, he was going to challenge one of the Klitschko's for the belt. And looking at him now, he's a bum. I'm sorry, I couldn't see him right now fighting either Klitschko. They would both knock him out because he's just too susceptible to right hands. And the Klitschko's have the power in their fists to put a hole in Seth Mitchell. He's not that good of a fighter. Another thing I noticed during that fight, they showed a picture of Vladimir Klitschko, the heavyweight champion of the world, was in attendance. Not too many people clapped for him because even though he's the heavyweight champion of the world, but most people really don't know who he is. So it's like he didn't get an ovation like Mayweather did, which was surprised to see him in attendance. He got a huge reaction, But like I said, I think it's because the general public in America and in the States, they don't know who Vladimir is. Some people do, but most people still don't know who he is, so that's why he didn't get an ovation. There were some people in attendance. The crowd was hype. The fights before the telecast were good fights. There were some good fights in the telecast. I saw some young up and coming fighters, good knockout victories. There was one fight that went decision. So it was some good fights. So I was in attendance, and overall the crowd was good. The crowd booed Jonathan Banks and Seth Mitchell fight just about the whole way. They booed that fight. They booed Sakio Bika for the most part up until the last two rounds. And it was, all in all, it was a good night for boxing. Leave your comments, respond to them all, and until next time, everyone.